Avocado is a highly valued fruit because of its health, nutritional, economic, cosmetic, and industrial potential. There is a high global demand that has progressively increased from $12.824 in 2019 and is expected to reach $17.905 billion in 2025. Avocado production can benefit both small-scale and large-scale farmers, especially when they work in organized groups.
We are now learning strategies on how to make sure farmers reduce their losses from management of their orchards. And in doing that and training farmers, we are going to make them love the crop more. So we are doing also radio talk shows to tell farmers more about the benefits and also the communities, the consumers. We are talking to cosmetic companies, we are talking to exporters, people that are potential markets for the farmers. So that then, in the future, as we engage more farmers, we start linking them with the markets. And that makes the farmers more comfortable to join more into this production.
These characteristics have made the Hass avocado one of the most popular variety, accounting for over 80% of global market share.
With very good quality oil, and this oil is demanded across the globe, both in Europe, America, and some parts of Asia. So as we start off with the Hass avocado production, we need to train our nursery operators on how to graft and to be able to produce high quality seedlings.
To achieve these benefits, one has to ensure quality planting seedlings that have been well managed.
Before producing the seedling, you have to produce the rootstock. And when you are producing the rootstock, you need shade. You can use the natural shade, which is the trees. You can also use the shade nets. Usually for germination, like you see down here, because the seeds are still many and we are not sure of who will germinate, we use the open area under the trees. So after they germinate, we take them into the shade. So one requirement is the shade. Two, you need a water source like what we have here. This will enable you water all the pots when you are doing your activities. And then you need other equipments like what I have in my background. You'll need a wheelbarrow, you will need a tube for water, you'll need a watering can, and you'll also need a hoe for mixing your material. Of course, you'll need materials for media, which include the soil, sand soil, black soil, and then manure. The procedure involves you mixing the three types of soil. You need 3 portions of black soil, you need 2 portions of manure, and 1 portion of sand. So when you mix those 3 together, that is what you put into the black polythene. When you put that into the black polythene, you make sure that you allow about a quarter of the black polythene for putting the seed. When you are planting the seed, you make sure that it is not completely covered, because it needs some space. It should slightly be exposed so that it can easily open during germination. So you top up the soil when the seed is still having some space for germination open. So after you have planted your seed, you go ahead and cover it with mulch. Now mulch will cover it is good when you are working outside, in the outside environment, to protect it from the sun. But when you are in the shade net, you don't need to cover with mulch, because the shade in the shade net is sufficient to protect your seedling. So what follows is simply watering and weeding. That is how you raise up your rootstock when you are outside before you graft it.
One, it should be free from any pest, it should be free from any disease, it should also have dormant buds. You see, these are buds. They should be dormant, but also show a sign of sprouting at certain point. So once you graft, after a period of a month, they will sprout out. They will begin to bring leaves. So this is a rootstock. When you see the size of a rootstock, it's pencil size, it's qualifying. So even our scion should be pencil size so that they are matching. Then after, if they both qualify, then we do the actual grafting. Now the actual grafting is the union of a scion and a rootstock, but of the same family. Process of grafting, it involves different modes of grafting, different techniques. But the most two prominent ones is the wedge and then the slanting method. There are other methods, but those two are the most prominent ones. I am going to show you the wedge technique. So for the wedge technique, you cut the rootstock like that, and then you instead sharpen the scion in this case. So you make like it is sharp, you cut this side and cut this side. And then on the rootstock, you make a V, you slit in between. Then, because you've cut this one, you've exposed the inner tissues and also this side, and now here you've made a slant. So now you're going to connect them like this. So after, you need a grafting tape. This is the grafting tape. Now you tie around. So it has to be a smart tie in that there is no any water seeping through from the top of the scion. See, you have to make sure that when you're tying, you're wrapping, you close all the wound. Like this is a smart tie, as you can see. Also, you don't have to remove all the leaves from the rootstock because they also help in feeding in the process of photosynthesis. They help in making the food for the whole plant because now we've joined it as one plant. Then after grafting, we have to cover. We cover most especially the scion up because it has no leaves and it is going to dry out if we don't cover. So we have to cover to reduce the rate of transpiration so that we preserve it with a lot of moisture. So after grafting, then you need to put it in the line. As you can see, these ones are already grafted, so they are in a line. You have to do weeding, a thorough weeding, removal of all unwanted plant or grass that is growing in the nursery. You have to remove it. Then you also need to be spraying with either fungicides or pesticides. This help to deter pests to be far away from your plant of interest, and also helps to control diseases in case you have any disease attack. You also have to always water, keep watering your plants. Make sure that you provide them with enough water because it's important for plant growth. During the growth of a grafted seedling, there are many competitors. For example, the lateral shoots. For example, this one is unwanted. It is an avocado part, but it is unwanted. It is actually out-competing the scion. Because when you see, this is a grafting tape, which means the union is here. But now this one is growing below the union. It is unwanted because what is wanted is what grows up on the scion. So now this we have to remove. Over time, you have to remove. What do you use? You need to have a sharp blade, and then you can slightly cut it off like that, and then you always remove it. Everywhere it is growing, you have to remove. And also, there are those that still grow from the seed. You also have to cut it out because it is bringing a lot of competition for the scion. So if we leave the tape here for a longer time, it will constrict the tree, remember the tree is growing, the seedling is growing bigger, so the tape will constrict the movement of the transportation of nutrient and water, and then eventually the upper part of the tree or the shoot system will die out. So that's why we have to remove the grafting tape. So when you're removing the grafting tape, you don't just cut. You have to identify where it was tied from, exactly that point. Then you make a very small cut like that, and then you can begin untying.
One has to consider key features that help in the understanding and identification of a ready-to-plant Hass avocado seedling.
A ready-to-plant seedling, it should be healthy first and foremost. No pest attack signs, no disease attack signs and symptoms. It should be well hardened. I mean the leaves should be dark green, not showing any symptom of a deficiency, nutrition deficiency. It should be well hardened, should have an active buds. For every bud is a potential branch. So and then it should be in a well contained pot. There in the pot there should be enough soil that is going to sustain it at least for the first 1 month when it is introduced in the garden.